From the Clark Ford Studio in Oxford, Mississippi, MBW Digital proudly presents the Oxford Exxon Podcast.
I'd say thanks for tuning in, but why am I going to give you a round of applause for something that you're supposed to do, to be frank?
And now, here are your hosts, Chase Parham.
That broadcast school has really paid off.
And Neal McCready.
I deserve to be on TV.
Welcome to this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready. Neal is in the Clark Ford studio. I am in Amory. Let's pray the internet holds up. We do have internet down here, though, so it's amazing. Clark Ford probably got internet. We'll get through this podcast this morning with you. We'll talk some baseball as Ole Miss knocks off Southern Miss 11-2 last night in Pearl, running their winning streak up to 4 games and getting a bit of a roll here heading into Kentucky this weekend. They got enough out of Zach Phillips. They got good bullpen efforts. Then they put 2 big innings together against the Golden Eagles late in the game to walk away with that one. Again, 11-2. That is their 5th straight win in the series against Southern Miss. That is their 4th straight win against Southern Miss at Trustmark, and they'll continue that series later this season in Hattiesburg at Pete Taylor Park. So we'll talk about that and more coming up on the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. Remember to go in, get your Blue Sky 49-cent refills. You need a Stadium Cup to do that, though. So you head out to Swayze Field this weekend, buy the Stadium Cup, keep it in your vehicle. 49 cents every single time. Fountain drink there at Blue Sky. Ribs, lunch specials. You know about those. Lunch specials, $4.99. Ribs, you can wrap them up, get them ready to go whenever you want. And Credical is the presenting sponsor of the FCA breakfast. That's coming up April 27th at the Manning Center. You can find out more. You can get tickets at OleMissFCA.com. The Kessinger family are the special guest, or is the special guest for that one. So again, check that out. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, right there where they have electricity and internet and everything. Right there in Amory, 662-257-1900. Call that number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what new Ford you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. Just a great deal on a great vehicle right off the bat. Listen, if you think you're in the car market, think you might be in the car market, you think one day you might be in the car market, and you just want to get a quote to get you started, do that. Get a quote. Call Corey, get a quote. At the very least, it gives you a baseline idea moving forward. It just might do what it did for me, and that is lead you into purchasing a Clark Ford vehicle. 662-257-1900. At the end of your deal, tell Corey that you heard about Clark Ford on the podcast, and you'll save $500 off the already great bottom line. I know we're going to talk about a number of things. I don't know if you saw this. This is a Mississippi-related topic because he's from Mississippi. Billy Hamilton, who now plays for the Kansas City Royals.
He's from Taylorsville, signed when stayed out of high school, but obviously bypassed that for major leagues.
He scored from second base on a sac fly in the major leagues last night.
Ole Miss has done that twice this season.
And I'm not belittling it happening at the college level. I'm not.
No, I know. I'm messing with you.
Because, and I know college baseball is probably the equivalent of high A baseball, which is really good baseball. But this is major leagues.
Where did the fly ball go? I saw the headline. I have not seen the video.
Well, okay. The two things to know is that the center fielder, he goes back on the ball. They're playing Seattle. It was in Kansas City. The center fielder goes back, and he is 1 foot onto the track, and he kind of dropped to a knee, but he still came up and made a really good throw, thinking that Hamilton would stop at third, and he just kept going, and the relay throw was good. Just beat it.
How close was it?
It was quasi close at the plate. Not real close. Good. Watching it again. Yeah, I mean,
so he took him by surprise. The guy was on a knee.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, no, I get it.
He's so fast.
That is basically his one tool, but it's one hell of a tool.
It's one hell of a tool. When he gets on base, he's a nightmare. If he could have ever developed the hit tool a little more. Whew. But as it is, he's
maintained that speed pretty well through the years, which is the more impressive thing to me, because as soon as that goes, he's done.
I was getting ready to say the exact same thing. That is as impressive as anything, is that he has not lost that tool, and it hasn't diminished at all. And as long as he has that one tool, he'll play in the bigs.
Yeah. No, he's had a heck of a career. He would have been, I mean, duh. But I would have loved to have seen him at the college level just to see what that speed would have looked like at that level. Could have stolen just on cue every time.
Yeah, he would. I mean, it would have taken the Cooper Johnson caliber catcher
with a perfect throw
to even have a shot at him.
Yeah. And frankly, the bigger thing at the college level is the pitchers don't hold very well.
Right.
That's the problem.
Right.
Because whatever the catcher's percentage is of throwing people out, it's actually probably should be better than that because pitchers don't hold runners very well at the college level. And then you get what you get. So, anyway, again, Ole Miss 11, Southern Miss 2 last night. Southern Miss led 2-1 for the majority of the game, and then Ole Miss put up a 5 spot in the 6th. They added another run in the 7th, and then put a 4 spot up in the 8th just to kind of put it away and put it on ice. If anything, it saved Parker Carace's outing because I think he was getting up to loosen there in the 9th. Once they scored 4 in the bottom of the 8th, Gunnar Hoagland finished it up for Ole Miss, which creates a little bit of confusion on exactly what Mike's going to do on Sunday. As I was kind of expecting Hoagland to get the nod. He still might get a good job of managing the pitching staff, or nobody was used up last night. They could go back to Roth. I don't know what they're going to do. Tyler Myers, potentially a possibility if he doesn't close a game in the interim between now and then. But Zach Phillips gave him enough. He stranded a lot of runners. It could have gone poorly with one ball in the gap, but it didn't. 4.1 innings, 2 runs for Zach Phillips. Struck out 6 and didn't walk anybody. That's a good sign for him. And then Austin Miller throws 23 pitches. Tyler Myers throws 29 pitches. And then Gunnar Hoagland throws 24 pitches. So no one used up last night whatsoever for Ole Miss. They played a clean game defensively. They took advantage of Southern Miss not doing so. Southern Miss commits 4 errors last night. That leads to, I think, 6 unearned runs for the Golden Eagles that just fell apart. They loaded the bases with 3 walks, and then Knox LaPasser ended up hitting a double to kind of put it away after that point. Gray Kessinger last night, 0 for 1, but reached base 4 times. He walked 3 times and was also hit by a pitch. So interesting stat line for him. And for LaPasser, I'm beginning to think you got to find a way to get this kid some DH at bats because he's being helped out a little bit by there's no book on him yet. College coaches have no idea how to pitch him because he hasn't had a lot of at bats. You're going to catch Cooper, obviously. Cooper suspended last night for the ejection on Saturday. But LaPasser has had doubles in back-to-back games. He's put pretty good swings on fastballs. You might want to ride this thing until that transition period hits him.
Absolutely.
He can hit left-handers too.
Yeah, ride him until there's a book. And then they'll adjust and then see if he can adjust to the adjustment, and that's when you'll know whether you have a player or not.
But they've got a spot open in the lineup, so why not? See what it looks like.
I certainly would.
I mean, he's hitting. He was 2 for 4 last night with 3 RBIs and 2 runs scored.
Look, the North Alabama game notwithstanding, not to get back on that topic because I'm done with it. They're scoring a lot of runs.
They are scoring a lot of runs. The last 4 games, they have scored 51 runs.
It's a lot. I mean, that's almost 13 a game. You're going to win that way. I mean, whatever they're doing, again, the crazy game, I realize it counts, but for the sake of this discussion, I'm kind of throwing it out. Whatever they're doing, it's kind of working.
LSU got their version of that last night. They lost on the road at Southern last night.
I saw that. Arkansas was losing at one point. I don't know if they came back and won or what. Arkansas was losing to Oral Roberts, I thought I saw, and then there was another SEC team that was getting popped. It wasn't a good night for the midweeks if the scores held up.
All right, so here's what happened in the SEC last night. Arkansas 15-8 over Oral Roberts.
Oh, so they came back and won. They were down, I don't know, 6-1 or something at one point to Oral Roberts.
Jacksonville State 11, Auburn 6 last night in Auburn.
Okay.
Florida 3, Florida State 1. So here's a funny note for you. Florida has now won 11 straight in the series over Florida State, and Mike Martin will finish his career 76-77 all time against Florida now after losing 11 in a row to finish his career.
Wow.
Yeah. Georgia pops Georgia Tech last night 12-2 in Athens. Vanderbilt beats up on Middle Tennessee. Ole Miss beats up on Southern Miss. Alabama beats Samford last night 21-2. Missouri beat SIU Edwardsville 10-3. South Carolina beat Charlotte 5-4. Southern beat LSU 7-2, and I think LSU had 2 hits in the game. Tennessee beat up on Lipscomb, and then Texas State beat A&M last night in College Station. So there were some losses.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as bad as it could have been earlier in the night.
Right.
Why is LSU playing at Southern?
Played at Southern Stadium?
They played at Southern, yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a short little trip, I'll tell you that.
Just meet y'all there, right? Just come in your own vehicles? Just head on over.
I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe just to be nice.
They have a really weird resume because their RPI is Their RPI is 9. However, they have losses so far this season to Cal, who has an RPI outside the top 75. Northwestern State has beat them. McNeese State has beat them, and now Southern has beat them.
And look, I know nothing about any of the teams you just mentioned, except I did grow up in Louisiana, and I do remember when LSU would come to Ruston once in a blue moon and play Tech. Tech would pretty much scrap whatever rotation they had for the weekend and fix it to where they had the best shot to beat LSU.
Well, and as you should, because RPI is irrelevant to those teams. They can't get an at-large bid. So anything you do until the conference tournament is strictly for your own entertainment and trying to get big wins. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no reason to worry about RPI if you're McNeese State.
No, you just go for it because you're going to have to win the Southland Conference or whatever tournament, whatever league they're in now. You're going to have to win that league to get into the tournament. And if you don't win that conference tournament, you're not going to the tournament. So really all of it's somewhat meaningless until you get there. You're playing for seeding, but you're not playing for anything else. So why not try to make a memory when when you play LSU?
Yeah, Southern's RPI 196. So
surprised it's that good.
It's a shouting distance from 285, but it's still not very good. McNeese State's at 133. They're actually a better club than I kind of thought they were, frankly. And then Northwestern State, for them, really dang good. They've got an RPI of 120 right now.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's
Still,
not bad for the Demons.
But not good enough to get a thing. So
God, no. Still doesn't matter.
Yeah, so, it's the point stands. It's those, fans hate it and journalists hate it too when coaches do it. But when sometimes coaches just go, well, it's baseball.
It's such an unsatisfactory answer for fans. Like it's.
And I get it. I totally understand why it's just like scratching a chalkboard. I totally understand. But it is just sometimes it's just baseball. You'll see a series in the majors where a first place team in August goes and plays a team that's 31 under 500 and gets swept. And you're like, how does that happen? And the answer is, well, because sometimes baseball just sort of happens.
Oh, and the guys on that other team, they are the best people to ever come out of their towns, by the way. Like it's not like they're chopped liver.
But LSU loses to Southern. How does it happen? I don't know, because LSU couldn't get all that energized for it, and Southern was the Super Bowl.
Also sounds like LSU's doing with little Ole Miss stuff where they're having a hard time hitting bad pitching. Because that's the only real answer to how this happens this many times in the midweek. They're having a hard time gearing down.
Well, there is an adjustment when you're seeing 91, 92, 89, 90, 91 consistently, and suddenly you see 77.
And like you said, the team defensively is playing with their hair on fire, and it just is what it is.
Yeah, but it's different, And then you're not throwing your best guys.
That's why I don't like it. Once league play starts, I would not play anybody outside of about the top 150 in the RPI because I know I'm at least going to see decent fastballs. If I'm playing Southern or Valley or somebody, I'm doing it early in the season.
So why doesn't that happen more?
Why does it? What happened?
What you just said. Why does it? Where the Big 12 and the SEC or the ACC and the SEC kind of get together and go, you know what?
Because it's traveling in the midweek, which is hard, which is expensive.
Yeah.
You just play whoever's around.
It's money mostly.
Yeah, it's almost all money. And just convenience.
Sure.
You got to get back home at some point. There's already so much travel with baseball as it is. It's hard to go, hey, Texas, why don't you come over for a Tuesday? Well, okay, but whatever. I told you my idea. I've written this 1,000 times. at least I would not play any SWAC teams. I would not play any MEAC teams, and I wouldn't play the bottom of the barrel. And going into a season or 2 years out, who's probably going to be bottom of the barrel in the Southland and some of those conferences. I would not do that. I would play Delta State one time instead. I would play Delta State because it has no impact whatsoever on your RPI. Doesn't touch it. Doesn't count. Doesn't count at all. Doesn't count as a win, and you'll just have 55 games on your resume instead of 56. It'll garner some goodwill, and I don't have this landmine waiting here to hit me. That's what I do.
That makes sense.
I'd play Memphis and UAB and Arkansas State. I'd play ULM. I'd play CLA. I'd play anybody within distance that I know is going to be a fairly decent, competent baseball team. And then I play Delta State one time. Tell the Okra to come over. We'll have a good day. And who gives a crap what happens?
Yeah.
I still get my innings in. I still get to hit. I still get to pitch. But my resume doesn't get a single blip on it whatsoever.
And if they win, you tip your hat.
Whatever.
Great job, fellas.
Yeah, because there's not that angst with UNA where it's like, oh, crap, what happened? Well, now what's the resume look like where your RPI goes from 30 to 41 in 2 minutes?
Yeah, because the UNA loss, and I said we wouldn't talk about it, and here we are. Well, why not? It's one of those days. The UNA loss really doesn't say anything about Ole Miss. It just tells you they had a bad day. It's not reflective of some. I mean, it's not. Look, am I saying it was excusable? Of course not. But it's not reflective of something wrong with the program, because if it were, they wouldn't have responded with 4 straight wins over
good baseball teams,
Florida and Southern Miss. I mean, it makes no sense. So of course it was an anomaly, and it happens, and it looks bad on the resume, and we've covered it. We've talked about how it's probably going to make them have to win one more SEC game than they would have otherwise had to win to get whatever they're trying to get to. But I don't know. I'm not sure I'm making coherent thoughts right now, but that's the gist of it.
It made a memory for UNA, and it allowed some kid from UNA to get up on Sunday morning and see that Ole Miss swept Florida and go, what the heck happened last Tuesday?
Oh,
how do we do that?
Yeah, because they're probably not. They probably have not picked up 4 big wins since that game.
No, of course not. I actually need to look and see what they did over the weekend because I'm kind of curious coming off that one. But I don't know. Yeah, Ole Miss up to 20, by the way, in the RPI after last night because their non-conference RPI really jumped winning the neutral site game against Southern Miss last night.
They've got a real shot. I mean, I don't want to overhype a weekend, but this feels like, and I know it's not the greatest matchup in the world, but this feels like one hell of an opportunity.
It is. UNA, by the way, the day after they beat Ole Miss 10-6, Samford beat them 9-1.
There you go.
Yeah. Then they went to Liberty and lost 2 out of 3.
Makes all the sense in the world.
Then they lost 7-1 to Tennessee Tech last night. No jokes, guys. No jokes.
Let the record say it was Parham that said Tennessee Tech, not me.
Tennessee Tech's 13-17 overall this season. Well, their coach left for Rice.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Well, it wasn't going to get any better than it got.
If there was that dude didn't even have to get off the phone call before he said yes to whoever the AD is at Rice, did he?
No.
I mean, hey, Mr. Was it Matt Braga? Coach Braga, this is so-and-so. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just send a plane or a car or a bus or something. I'm on the way.
Yeah. I believe in Cookeville. All good. All right, we'll move on in 1 second. What did I tell you about Scripted Jewelry? ScriptedJewelry.com. Perfectly personal way to customize your gift with Scripted Jewelry. Mother's Day right around the corner. Take advantage of Scripted Jewelry for that. You've got until April 25th, but do it now. Go to the website, check it out. See, it's a mom thing. They've got a whole section for Mother's Day gifts. They've got recent work. They've got new arrivals. They'll even tell you what other people have purchased on the site in recent days to give you ideas on how to get great turnaround times and great gifts with Scripted Jewelry and save some money in the process. Rebels10, REBELS 10 in the coupon box to save 10% with ScriptedJewelry.com.
Podcast also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with the personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with the live person, all without having to press 10 buttons, without a 5-minute wait. OUB offers its customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa, and with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000. And with Kasasa, ATM fees nationwide are refunded. OUB also offers online bill pay and mobile check deposit using its online app. To learn more about OUB, check out liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. The podcast also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is a RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's also a big part of Savannah Square. It's a 9-acre development, about 7/10 of a mile from the Oxford downtown square. It's conveniently located east of North Lamar, so it's a short little stroll from the Midtown Shopping Center. It's very conveniently located to a bunch of restaurants and establishments and such. Savannah Square will initially consist of 32 standalone detached houses, ranging in size from 1,100 square feet to 2,400 square feet. The model home, I've seen it, it's really nice, is available for your inspection as well. It's located at 215 William Street. These homes have wonderful layouts, impeccable finishes, which you can inspect when you go to the model home. So give Harry a call. Look at the model, get more information about this great new development while they're still available. You can do more at savannahsquareoxford.com or get in touch with Harry at 662-801-5621. And we're brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy and Tyson Drugs. G&M, they're on South Lamar in Oxford. They deliver local to your home or workplace in the Oxford area. Also, they offer MedSync. MedSync allows you to take the medicine when you need to. It's on schedule. It brings everything to you at the time that you need it. They also are offering CBD oil. It's in multiple different options, including soft gel capsules, topical salves, and more. It's an all-natural product, helps maintain overall health, and helps regulate many conditions such as depression, anxiety, pain, insomnia, and more. It's made from hemp. Not going to get any crazy side effects. Just going to make you feel better. That's what it does. It's FDA approved. It is available in all 50 states, including G&M right here in Oxford. So again, 662-236-2222. ESPN, Big 12, agreeing to a media rights deal, I guess yesterday, this morning, something like that. I'm reading from Sports Business Daily for this. And frankly, all it told me, Neil, was how far the Big 12 was kind of behind the times with everyone else. So this is going to be a deal that includes basically every Big 12 team except for Texas and Oklahoma, because Oklahoma has some sort of local rights deal where they're not supplying content online to ESPN. And then Texas, obviously, with the Longhorn Network, so you can still get their streaming with that through ESPN. But it's going to pay a total of around $40 million for 3 championship games, and then all the ESPN Plus rights. So your ESPN, your online stuff. It says that with the entire media rights deal that they've got right now, it's going to average about $22 million a year. Looks like it's still way below the SEC. But what this is basically is ESPN picking up the 3 championship games that Fox declined to buy. What is that? Just stop there for a second. I got a couple more other points on this. But I can't even imagine a world where CBS would just decline to buy rights for SEC games or something like that.
Oh, hell no.
Fox going, no, we're good. Let somebody else have them. We're good. What?
Well,
and you can argue they have the better time slot. They've got the night game.
But it tells you a lot.
Actually, do they have the night game or do they have the early game? I don't remember now. I said that. Now I think I might be wrong. The SEC has the solo slot, whatever time that thing is at 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
They have the slot where no one screws with them.
For the 2:30 game?
Yeah, whatever. Well, I'm talking about the SEC championship. It's at like 3:30, something like that.
Yeah, the Big 12 game.
Is it the 11 game or the night game?
Yeah, it's early.
Okay.
It's the early game because the Big 10 game's the night game.
Okay.
Yeah, the Big 10 game is the 7 o'clock kick or whatever.
Okay.
Because the Pac-12 game is a Friday night game.
So they're picking this up. Let's see. Here's what's funny to me. And I wonder if this is a school-related thing where they just don't have the stuff in place. Shows you maybe even how far down they are. It says starting in 19, Baylor, Kansas, Kansas State, and Oklahoma State will provide games for ESPN+. Iowa State, TCU, West Virginia, and Texas Tech are not going to do it until 20. They're going to wait a year even before they start throwing their games online.
Because they don't have the equipment and all that.
That's my assumption. I don't know. Is that possible?
Yeah.
That you just don't have the infrastructure to do it?
Yeah. If you remember when the SEC thing set up, I mean, they had to have some lead time for everybody to get organized.
Yeah, Ole Miss was way out ahead of that because of the season stuff.
Right.
And frankly, they still are. I tried to watch some of the Tennessee broadcasts when they played State the other day, and it did not even look like the same world from a production standpoint.
That Ole Miss sports production people, and I don't say this because I don't know any of them. I mean, I don't know that I know them at all. They do phenomenal work.
Yeah. So is the Big 12, what's your guess? The Big 12 still a conference in 12 years?
Hell no.
10 years?
When's the rights deal up with Oklahoma and Texas?
It's like 23, isn't it?
Yeah, that's when it's over.
Okay. That's it, huh?
I've been saying this for a while. So if I miss it, man, I'll be able to go, hey, I was wrong for a long time. And if I get it right, I'll be able to say, I called this one, and I won't be alone. Don't get me wrong. I won't be able to puff my chest out too much. But I think most people who watch this thing and are interested in this kind of thing saw this coming. I've been saying for a while, Oklahoma wants out. Texas wants out. They do. They want out. They've always wanted out. They didn't get out, but they want out. And they know they made a mistake because the amount of money that they've lost in this thing. I mean, the Longhorn Network thing didn't work. Now, it gave Texas a reason to do it, where Texas can go, well, it didn't really work, but we didn't lose any money. But if you're Oklahoma over there, you don't have the Sooner Network. They're over there going, God, we did not capitalize. I've said for a while, I think the SEC, and people push back on this, and maybe they're right, and if they are, it won't be the first time that I'm wrong. I think the SEC expands to 16 when that deal goes up, belly up. I used to think the Pac-12 would go to 16, but now it's a weak league.
So who goes to what then? What happens?
Maybe the Big Ten grows by 2, and the SEC grows by 2, and those become the big bad boys. Because that's kind of where it's headed, man. Those are the 2 really healthy leagues.
It is. There's no doubt about that. Frankly, the ACC sneakily has done a pretty good job.
It has. It certainly has. Well, it's got great basketball, and and that's from a TV standpoint. We've talked about this. It's not that basketball is a quote better sport end quote. It has nothing to do with that. It's just football. You don't play but once a week. And in basketball, there are games, and it goes over the course of a long season. And, the season starts November the 10th-ish, and it just ended. And you get a conference tournament. You don't get a football tournament, as interesting as one would be. You don't get a football tournament. But you get a basketball tournament where you have 14 teams, so you have 13 games in 4 days or 5 days or whatnot. I mean, you have that kind of programming. You need it to be strong. Big Ten's got it. SEC's got it. Big time. But Big 12 football, man. I mean, it doesn't exactly move the needle.
No, it has it's Oklahoma and then basically an arena league reputation. You know what I mean? We almost turn it on like Maction at this point. Yeah,
but the rivalries don't resonate other than Texas-Oklahoma. I mean, that rivalry, seriously, for a minute, stop and try to put any and all biases or prejudices that you might have aside for a moment. And it's hard to do because we're sports writers and we're sort of cynical and we're like, I'm not watching any of it. But if you're sitting, we'll go back to our pals in Dubuque. If you're sitting there, Texas OU, you turn that on. Yeah, you're interested. Sure, why not?
Yeah, I'm good.
That's cool. I mean, Texas and Oklahoma, that's a good game. I'm interested. You've got a chance to occupy my Saturday. Give me another Big 12 game that does that for you.
The only one that even gets close and it falls short is Bedlam.
That's the one I was thinking in my mind, and that you're exactly right. Yet,
it's really close, and if they're both good and it's close, I'll watch it. But I'm not sitting down going, "Hey, Oklahoma State at 2:30, count me in, get my popcorn."
Yeah, and so go to the SEC for a minute, and again try to.
Yeah, this is so hard to do because we're just so ingrained in this conference at this point.
But try for a minute and think about it.
Alabama, LSU,
in.
Yeah. Georgia, Auburn, in.
Yeah. Georgia, Florida, often in.
Yeah.
Florida, Tennessee back in the day was an absolute national watch.
Because they hate each other, LSU, Florida.
It's interesting.
Yeah, just interesting. I'll sit down and be entertained for a minute with that. All good.
Auburn, Florida. You get some games that are interesting. South Carolina, Georgia has some interest to people. It gets good ratings. It gets good ratings outside.
It does have that early little slot where really people lock in on that.
Yeah. LSU Ole Miss has been a good rivalry game. Ole Miss Mississippi State, because the two schools hate each other so much, the hate alone has made that a rivalry that people will watch.
That's a good point. The guy in Dubuque might go, "Hey, these son of a guns hate each other. Let's just see what happens tonight."
Why do you think it's on Thanksgiving night? He's like, "I've stuffed myself. I'm sick of my family."
Yeah. I've already
enough.
Watched 2 NFL games today.
Yeah, I watched the Bears Lions just then. It's done. Do I care who wins Ole Miss Mississippi State? Not even a little bit. But these guys hate each other, and kind of like I hate my mother-in-law right now. And so I'm going to watch this. I'm on, and if it's a good game, I'll stick with it, and if it's not, I'll flip to
whoever's on NFL Network right now.
Yeah, I'll flip to something. I'll flip to Chiefs Steelers. But I might give this a shot because last year these guys had a brawl.
Yeah. I
mean, that's reality. And so when you think Big 12 with it, and maybe we're missing something. West Virginia, Baylor, yeah, it might be 70-62, but
that's my point. You're watching for points and sideshow.
Yeah, I just don't know what I'm really watching. It doesn't have that appeal. Meanwhile, in the ACC, Clemson, Florida State, still appealing. That's about it.
Because now you don't give a crap about Miami, Florida State anymore.
No, but there's the potential of that game being meaningful, which would, it's tough, man.
There's some teams in the ACC that I don't mind watching. Virginia Tech can play a game where I go, all right, I'm in, fine.
So here's the final part of my point.
Yeah.
Now we can be Southerners again.
Uh-huh.
Big Ten, Michigan, Ohio State. People can belittle it all you want. I watch. I find that interesting.
I watch Michigan State, so I can hate both of them equally.
Yeah. Penn State, Ohio State.
Yeah, all good.
I watch.
I watched Wisconsin play multiple teams.
Yeah. Northwestern Michigan sometimes is a sneaky good game. There's kind of a lot.
It was like 11 a.m. Indiana, Illinois, locked in.
Well, you're not watching that, but that 7:00 game when Penn State plays Michigan State and they're both in the top 10. Yeah. 100,000 people decked out in white in Happy Valley or whatever. You're watching that.
Hey, the Big Ten has a lot of purpose. They've got the really good games, and then all jokes aside about those 11 a.m. games, it's a really good just kind of palate thing for your day when you get Iowa against whomever that morning. Iowa, Wisconsin. Sure. All right, 11 a.m., let's watch.
Sure.
They're going to be kind of slow. They're going to beat each other up. We're going to see a running game, and this thing's going to be over in about 3.5 hours, which for a college football game means it's flying.
I kid you not. I used to, this, when I was doing marathon training stuff on Saturday, I would plan my run around. Like if Ole Miss had a game at night or late afternoon or whatever in Oxford or wherever, I would find the Big Ten game at 11 a.m., and I would start my run at kickoff, and I would run till halftime. And you'd get Iowa Northwestern or something. And was it super football? No, but it was more entertaining than staring at the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would watch it.
And you developed a little bit of an affinity for a couple of them.
Yeah, I kind of like Iowa. I kind of like Northwestern. Those are the two that I kind of developed. I kind of like Purdue a little bit.
You like the smart school, and then you like the school with the hospital.
Yeah. Well, the Iowa that tradition's cool. Things people talk about like checklist of things you'd like to go see. I think that's neat. I would like that. I know me, and I kind of know what makes me tick and stuff. I think if I went to an Iowa game where they did the hospital thing and it was just right, I probably would walk out of there.
That could get some emotions for you going.
Yeah, I think I'd kind of become a little bit of a Hawkeye fan. That could happen quickly.
Well, that's what's so neat about that tradition is that visiting fans are all excited to get there and take part in it.
Oh,
that's what makes it so unique is that there's so many great traditions, but that's one where the visiting fans go, hey, this is cool. I can't wait to kind of get there and support and do it also.
That's what makes the Grove cool, frankly, is it's the opposing teams that look forward to coming to Oxford because they kind of want to see the Grove and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a lot of Ole Miss people are like, man, the Grove is just nuts. I'm doing something different.
Yeah, it's the guy who eats steak 14 nights in a row and goes, God, where in the hell is a chicken finger right now?
Does no one have salmon?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, if you don't have steak much and you're served a really good steak, you're pretty pumped. But if you have steak all the time, I still want more steak. But regardless. I get the point. It's that. I mean, so for Iowa, that's cool. It's a really cool tradition. I mean, I'm going to go check that out one of these days.
So, would you have eaten all the creamed vegetables at Patrick Reed's champion dinner last night?
No, I would not have. I would have done the steamed broccoli with the sea salt and the shaved Parmesan. That sounded good.
Okay.
Some of the cream stuff, no.
Now he had cream spinach and cream corn, and I believe on the menu the corn was even phrased as creme brulee corn, so that was really creamed.
It sounds too sweet because corn already.
Well, I mean, cream sweet corn is incredibly sweet. Yeah,
that's not my thing. I tell you what I like with corn. I like to grill it, cut it off the cob, and it still gets a little sweet grilled like that. And then chop up some jalapeno, throw it in there. Oh, that's good stuff. Yeah,
it was bone-in ribeye, Caesar and wedge salads, mac and cheese, cream spinach, corn creme brulee, and steamed broccoli. And then for dessert, he did tiramisu.
Yeah. I got to say that I'll party with Patrick Reed. In that menu, I'm in. I can go either one of the salads. You can pick either one. I'm good. The bone-in ribeye in, mac and cheese in.
I'm sure the mac and cheese was tremendous.
Can you imagine? It was phenomenal. And then give me the broccoli. I'll feel like I'm at least doing something quasi healthy.
You'll skip the two cream things.
Yeah, that doesn't do much for me. But then the tiramisu, I'm definitely in.
And then they also had the tiramisu was the main one, but they also had vanilla bean creme brulee, chocolate crunch, whatever that is, and then praline cheesecake.
Ooh, I didn't see the cheesecake.
Yeah, it says chocolate crunch and praline cheesecake.
And
then he had either a Chardonnay or a cab waiting on you.
Yeah, I'll take the cab, thanks.
I don't mind that menu. I get more weirded out when people try to be interesting or weird with it. Just feed me something we're going to like.
Yeah, why the hell would you mind that menu? That menu's perfect.
I mean, Jordan Spieth did Texas barbecue. That's fine. I'll eat some sausage and some brisket.
Yeah, sure. I'm good with that.
But the ones that go, hey, let's have this really extravagant things I can't pronounce. Come on, just feed me. Quit trying to be that guy.
Hey, you're at a golf tournament. Come on.
Well, you're at the Champions Dinner of the Masters at Augusta National.
It's still a golf tournament. I mean, it's a upscale golf tournament, but a golf tournament nonetheless.
I made people mad criticizing Augusta National this week.
I know. You have offended the golf people.
I know. Well, and look, Augusta National is great, but if you can't also recognize that they're completely pompous and whatever, then, I mean, come on. Like, we all love it, but we all look at them and go, oh, my God. I mean, No Laying Up yesterday did an entire segment on traditions at the Masters we hate. Because there are 20. Now there's 50 you love, but there's 20 you hate.
I mean, they're just a little full of themselves, or a lot. Yeah, I mean that's the part of it. It's for the people who aren't golf people. you can acknowledge that this is the premier golf event in the world, and also acknowledge at the same time that, oh my God, get a little more real with yourself.
They piped in bird noises, guys. I mean, come on.
That's horrible. That's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, again, tons of great things, and I am so happy that they banned cell phones. I mean, I'm elated by that. But dang, and that means a lot coming from me because I happen to like my cell phone. So, just saying.
Do you think if you went and you were on the course all day without your phone, and I'm not picking on you, would you go crazy, or do you think you would find it liberating?
No, I'd find it liberating. I'm better. I'm not good, but I am much better. I can get pauses from it. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, this is completely true. It's an addiction, so I'm trying to gradually break it a little bit. Like I am. There are times where I go, okay, there's nothing crazy happening, and if it does, someone will find me. It's possible to get a hold of me. Because it's not the, hey, take the call, take the text. It's that I'm addicted to just feeling the need to pick it up. I can't sit it down and leave it is my problem. It's not like, hey, turn it off. It's just, hey, stop touching it. I mean, I've contemplated because, look, yeah, I check it a lot, and when I get on my computer, I need to see what's going on. I've contemplated deleting Twitter from my phone.
Really?
Yeah. I can still tweet if I need to. I can go to the website. I can use my computer. But I've thought about deleting the Twitter app from my phone. Because I'm checking it every 7 minutes, and there's no need for that.
No, there's really not.
We don't get surprised by Twitter very often.
Well, and here's the reality for what we do. The whole breaking news thing is now to the point that if you do break a story, you own it for 6 seconds.
Yeah. You may or may not get credit for it later. I mean,
yeah, and it won't matter if you do. Our bosses don't really care.
No.
It's not like back in the day when I was working in Alabama, you'd wake up in the morning just, it wasn't like it was paralyzing or anything, but you never, you knew when the phone rang and it was your boss at 7:15 a.m. You knew what the call was.
Yeah. Something's up.
How come Goldberg has this in the Birmingham News and you don't?
Yeah. And you go, well.
I don't know, because I'm terrible. And
that would be a little roulette every day that I almost kind of think I would enjoy a little bit, is because you would, be ready to think the world was going to end when you got beat on something, and your immediate thought is, okay, how can I spin this forward? Not copy it, spin it forward. How can I do something different tomorrow? And then, I mean, talk about having a good day when you're the one with the thing in the paper that morning, knowing you got 24 hours where you're just there, and it's you.
Oh, well, that's exactly what would happen. You got beat, and now you got to take it someplace.
And you might even have some days where you got a story that's the same subject as another dude, but it's got different information, and you go, whoa, well, who's off here? What happened? So that's interesting, because now all that stuff happens in 7 seconds.
Well, I've told you the story of the Tuberville thing. I'll keep it very brief. When the people I was competing with were writing about George O'Leary being a candidate at Auburn. He at the time was the Georgia Tech coach, I think. Maybe it was Maryland. Hell, I don't know. But his name was being written about, and all of my sources were saying, and keep in mind, I'm in year 1 on the Auburn beat. And so I've got about 3 sources, and they're saying, don't worry about O'Leary, it's not him. And I'd get in the bed and go, well, I'm either really right or really wrong. And if I'm really wrong, I'm really fired.
They say, I've either won an award or I'm canned. One or the other. Nothing in the middle.
Yeah, and it was scary. I mean, because, I'm thinking, well, so if this doesn't work out, the whole sports writing thing pretty much is out the window. What exactly do I do with this prestigious communications masters from Louisiana Monroe? What the hell do I do for a living? I mean, it was nerve-wracking. I'll tell you that. It was weird, and I look back on it, and those were weird times that young journalists today have no ability to relate to. And not that that's anything wrong with that, but they just, now Twitter validates. If you're wrong, you're wrong within like 5 minutes, and you have a chance to almost fix it too, because there's nothing in print that's there forever.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Mastercut's Lawn and Landscape. Mastercut's provides premium lawn care throughout northern Mississippi. You can call for free quotes. You do that give them a call at 662-607-7773 or go mastercuts.com. But it's not just basic maintenance with weed eating, mulching, all those different things. No, they do much more. They do retaining walls, they do pool decks, they do custom playgrounds, out back, any outdoor living space. They'll take care of for you, even if it requires a little building. They'll be happy to build it. Forestry, mulching, and much more. Paver patios. Again, the path to your dream backyard, easier than you think. That's gomastercuts.com or 662-607-7773.
Podcast also brought to you in part by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you've been thinking about that golf trip with the guys this summer, maybe to Scotland, maybe you're thinking about the anniversary trip to Napa or whatever parts in between, going to Florida, the Caribbean, cruises, whatever the case may be, get in touch with John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values and unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. John traveled the globe for 37 years before getting into the travel business. No one knows the extra attention needed to make a special trip one that creates a lifetime of unique memories more than he does. So give him a call. Give him some parameters, give him a budget, and let him give you options that you won't find on your own. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. It's 901-494-3387, or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. It's a podcast that's also brought to you by the Westin Jackson. I'll have my mailbag up sometime later today. At least that's the plan. If you are staying in Jackson, that's the place to stay. It's a Marriott property. You get your accrue Marriott points. You can validate Marriott points there. If you live in or around Jackson, it's still a wonderful place to stop because it has Soul Spa. It's the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson. And it has Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro, a perfect place to wind down your day, sip on a creative craft cocktail, enjoy their curated wine list, and a fabulous dinner menu. It's also open for breakfast, lunch, and Sunday brunch. That's the Westin Jackson in downtown Jackson. And the podcast is brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust, based in Madison, Mississippi, but it represents clients in more than 20 states, has advisors in 3 states. Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan. Cookie-cutter financial planners put you in a box. Pinnacle Trust builds a box just for you. To learn more about Pinnacle Trust, go to pintrust.com. That's PINN trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You'll get 10% off your first year's fee.
So a lot of media entities discussing this on Twitter the last few days. Scott Van Pelt, I saw jumped in. That's how it came to my attention. Again, probably while I was scrolling through Twitter every 7 minutes. So this originally coming from Mina Kimes. If I'm mispronouncing that, I apologize. I have no idea. Says she's verified though. What'd she do? Senior writer at ESPN. Okay, no idea.
Yeah, anyway. She's legit. She's legit.
Yeah, no, I knew she was legit. I just didn't know who she was. You could have said actress, singer. I had no idea. So, yeah, says don't think this occurs to most guys. So, when you get into a hotel elevator with a strange woman, try to press your button first, and if you get up on the same floor, exit the elevator first. I realize this runs counter to norms of chivalry, and 99.9% of people don't have bad intentions. But as someone who has been followed and has had to turn around, fake phone calls, etc., it really helps. And this started a dialogue in a lot of different directions. And it does run so counterintuitive to anything I'd ever have thought because, frankly, she's telling you for the woman's sanity, kind of be a jerk if you want to know the truth.
See, I've always kind of already been this way.
Have you really?
Yes, always.
See, I'm completely the opposite. I'm the guy that will go, hey, what floor do you need? And I try to not even push my button before I've asked them what button to push for them. And there's no conscious thought. It's just, frankly, Rowena stereotypes, but true. I grew up in the South. It's just what you're taught to do.
There's a certain chivalrous to that. Yeah. No, I've always sort of thought.
You have this weird self-awareness of, do I seem threatening or creepy to anyone? You do.
Yeah, I do, and I always have, and it will never go away. It's something I've learned to live with. It's I don't want to make this about me, so it's not about me, but I have to say this to explain it, that I've always been cognizant of this, because I see myself as like this fat, bald, creepy guy, and so I think they must see me that way too. That's my life paradigm. It is what it is. And so I've always hit my button first. I'm so weird about it. There have been times that if we were on the same floor, I would just ride the elevator up and then come back down. I didn't want, and that's that thing, because if you're on the same floor and you get off, you're taught to let the woman off before you. It's a Southern thing. If you're offended by that, that's the way we were raised. Yet I've always thought, if I get off after her, she's thinking I'm following her.
It's never even crossed my mind that a female would think that. And I don't mean that negative. I completely understand the premise of the conversation now that I think about it. But It's just such a hard thing to make yourself do after you're ingrained to do it one other way.
It does tell you how much crap women deal with from crazy men.
Oh, can't imagine.
Really, it as a father of two girls, it's freaking terrifying. But
I've got female friends in the media industry that say you could not believe the direct messages and pictures and stuff they get on a semi-regular basis.
Yeah, I will never understand. Never in a million years. You know what I'm about to say, and I'm going to say it in a family-friendly sort of way. I will never understand the male mentality, because I don't have 1 ounce of this. The male mentality where he says, you know what I bet would impress her?
I'm going to knock her socks off with a picture of this.
I'm going to show her a picture of my friend, and I'm going to send that to her, and that's going to absolutely...
She's going to slide back in my DMs.
It's going to lead to something really, really great. What in the hell would make you think that? I'll never get it. I'll never get it. It's
amazing to me that more females don't just start tweeting the picture back and tagging the person publicly.
Oh, I think it's because they're just fearful.
Yeah.
But but you and I both. I have female friends in the media who have said the same thing, which is you would just be stunned. And the way they say it, I probably would just be stunned, even though I'm not easily stunned. The stuff that they get. We're kind of jumping around a little.
Yeah.
Like Leslie McCaslin, who's the Thunder's sideline reporter for Fox Sports, whatever. She just announced yesterday that she's stepping down from her job at the end of the playoffs whenever the Thunder are eliminated. To focus more on. She's been commuting from Dallas to Oklahoma City for years, and she's fantastic. And, she's a wife and a mom and all that stuff. She's terrific at what she does. Really, really good. And this came up. I kind of thought about it yesterday. I thought how many times, and she's obviously very attractive. And you wonder how many times, what does her inbox look like? I bet it's a clown show. And what it's like for her on the road and the stuff that she has to think about that you and me don't have to think about. I never get on an elevator and think, I wonder if this girl's following me. That never has ever once crossed my mind.
No. That's a very valid point. You don't. It's impossible for a male to have that thought process, almost.
Yeah, unless you're a psychopath. You. Yeah, or just the most arrogant guy in the world. It's never crossed my mind.
Well, yeah, you don't have a fear, is what my point. There's no
zero.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, if I get on an elevator and I get off on an elevator at the same 24th floor with a woman who I don't know also in the elevator, there is no part of me that thinks she's getting off on my floor because of me and she's going to follow me to see what room I'm in. Never. It's not crossing my mind.
And I guess my point is even with, I mean, you're not worried about that with, any kind of danger or assault type thing with men on the elevator either. You just get off the elevator, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Your mind never goes to, hey, this guy might attack me.
No, frankly, the one thought that you probably have on an elevator is, damn it, I've lost my cell phone reception and I wanted to look at this.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah, there's that.
Because that's what'll hit me. I'll be on a phone call and I'll go, is it bad etiquette to be on the phone on the elevator? Should I call this person back? Like, what do I do for a second? And then that's it. I get on the elevator, do one or the other, and then I get off the elevator.
Yeah, you're not even all that aware of the people.
Whatever.
So you see, what's been interesting to me in this conversation, the national conversation, has been the number of men who have gotten angry about it.
Under what premise?
Well, they'll say, I shouldn't have to think about that. I'm not, in other words, I'm not a stalker. I'm not an assault type person, so I shouldn't have to worry about that kind of thing. And it's not that. It's they're saying, basically, hey, if you just want to make the woman's mind at ease when you're on
they're admitting that 99% of the time, times 1,000, it's not a problem. Nobody's saying that almost everyone out there is out to get you.
Yeah, that you're not being stalked, but it's something that they have to deal with. And if you want to alleviate that fear at the very beginning of the elevator ride, hit your floor first.
It's interesting to me that in general, because of these things, because of the world that we're in, just kind of overall, that this goes to, opening doors. This goes to so many things is that what we would, grew up as with chivalrous actions or whatever, have really kind of left the world for multiple reasons. But one of those reasons is fear that, at least because of some actions, somewhat legitimate.
I'll tell you one that I've changed a little is, so I'm coaching Carson's Little League team.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I'm taller than all of the boys on the team because they're either 11 or 12, and I'm not 11 or 12. And so I'm 6'1", and I talk to the boys, and when I do, it's easy to put a hand on the shoulder. I try not to do that anymore. I try not to touch other than a fist bump or a high five or whatever. And because of just, and listen, if I ever get accused of that, come get me, because there's not a chance in hell that no. I mean,
isn't there a part of me though? This is a very sad state of society.
Yes.
I mean, it's just it's just cringeworthy that it's even a problem.
Absolutely.
And it is. I get it, but it just makes me kind of sad.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, no question about it. It is kind of sad that you can't, just pat a kid on the shoulder, and you can, but that you think about it. Because I did it last night. One of the boys on our team was he had a kind of a collision at first base, and I didn't realize it. I knew that he'd had the collision, but I thought he was fine. And in the dugout, he was kind of crying, and I thought he's upset that he was out. And I was explaining to him, how when you're that age, it's so tempting to run to the base and stop at the base, and which means you decelerate. And that's what he did. And we've worked on base running, but he's just, come on, he forgot, no big deal. And he stopped at first, and it allowed the first baseman the throw was kind of bad. It allowed the first baseman to tag him. And I was explaining to him, hey, remember how we talked about, go through the bag, go through the bag, go through the bag. And I said, if you'd done that, you would have beaten it. And then I thought he was crying because of that. And I said, he kept a little bit. And I said, are you okay? And he said, I think I turned my ankle. And that's why I'm upset, and my ankle hurts. And so I had my hand on his shoulder, and I, in my mind, thought, get your hand off the shoulder. Isn't that crazy? But I did. That's our kind of society a little bit. I thought, just you can have a conversation with this boy without touching him. And it was. I thought to myself, really that whole half inning, I thought to myself, I never would have kind of thought anything of that And when I was a kid, nobody would have thought anything, I don't guess, of a coach talking to one of his players with a hand on the shoulder.
Well, and tons of this. I mean, we live in a small town to where it's not we don't have to think about a lot of these things as much as maybe if you're in a more urban area. Probably.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of truth to that.
We're both sides are somewhat guarded to having to fully understand a lot of these idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, that's probably true.
So, interesting thought. You can check it out again. That came from her, Scott Van Pelt, Jamel Hell. A lot of people were discussing it on Twitter a few days ago. But podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing in Memphis. Or get local underwriting. Understands your market, a leader in condo financing and the float down option. You know that allows you to lock in the current rate. But if rates go down before you close, you get the lower rate. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE@communitymtg.com.
Guest will join us on the Patterson and Earhart hotline. Patterson and Earhart, attorneys at law, specialize in personal injury law and real estate law, but theirs is a general practice, and they can handle any of your legal needs. If you think you have a legal issue, if you know you have a legal issue and you're just not sure whether it's worth pursuing, whatever the case may be, take advantage of being a podcast listener. Pick up the phone and call Patterson and Earhart. You're going to get one of them on the phone, John Calvin Patterson or Wes Earhart. They're local guys, and when you get them on the phone, they're going to help you, and that initial consultation is free. 662-526-1992 or PELaws.com. We've been telling you about this for a while. It's getting closer and closer. Sunday, April the 28th, you can join Blue Delta Jeans and us on the Square in Oxford to celebrate Blue Delta's 5-year anniversary on the Square. Join the great people of Blue Delta Jeans for music, Bloody Marys, Big Bad Breakfast Biscuits, and Blue Jeans from 10 to 2. They're launching their spring-summer line of denim and Holland and Cherry. So while you're there enjoying a Bloody Mary, a complimentary Bloody Mary, a complimentary biscuit, you can also check out some of the jeans. And if you are so inclined, they'll be right there to fit you. And you can order your own pair. And believe me, once you order your first pair and put them on, you will start thinking about your second pair. It's a private event. Blue Delta Jeans is inviting all of our listeners, though. So go to Blue Delta Jeans on Instagram or Twitter and slide into their DMs. Let them know you're coming. Send them an RSVP. If you don't want to do it that way, you would rather send an email. That's cool, too. info@bluedeltajeans.com. Again, Sunday, April the 28th, on the Square in Oxford for Blue Delta Jeans birthday party. It's Bloody Marys, biscuits, and blue jeans. Hard to beat that. And this, this week in Ole Miss athletics, been telling you about a lot of stuff. Big, busy week kind of starts today. The Red Hot Rebel softball teams return to Oxford. They host 4 games this week, starting tonight against UAB at 6 p.m., and then again this weekend against Missouri, a 3-game series beginning Friday at 6 p.m. Admission is free. For more information, visit OleMissSports.com. The Ole Miss women's tennis team, they host their final regular season weekend matches starting on Friday at 3 p.m. against LSU. Fans will receive free crawfish, and admission is free. The Rebels are back at home on Sunday for Senior Day versus Texas A&M. The first 100 fans will receive an Ole Miss tennis class. For more info on these matches, visit OleMissSports.com. The Ole Miss track team will host the Joe Walker Invitational beginning Friday, April the 12th. Concludes on Saturday. Admission is free. For more information, visit OleMissSports.com. And then, of course, the Ole Miss baseball team returns to Swayze this weekend. They host the Kentucky Wildcats beginning Friday at 6:30 p.m. General admission tickets are available for purchase. For more information, visit OleMissSports.com.
So, again, at Rebel Grove today, we've got the mailbag coming. I talked to Amanda Nikhazy yesterday. She is the sister of Doug Nikhazy, SEC Freshman of the Week, Ole Miss's Saturday starter. She is a softball player at Stetson, and we talked about their background, kind of her growing up with Doug. They used to play catch in the backyard, and now both kind of living out their dreams, now playing college sports with baseball and softball. So you can check that out at Rebel Grove as well. Find out a little more about Nikhazy, who's probably set to be a mainstay in the Ole Miss rotation for the next 3 seasons, best I can tell. So
probably the same.
Yeah, I think that's probably a safe bet. It's gone pretty well so far. I think he's allowed 4 earned runs in like 19 innings in SEC play.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good for a freshman. He's doing okay. So you sent this story to me yesterday, and it is about billionaire Jack Dorsey. He's the CEO of Twitter and Square, and it's about his daily habits. And I read through them, and I'm curious before I comment, what was your thoughts on sending them my way?
I just thought it would be a discussion piece, and it was just fascinating.
Did you find him smart or crazy?
Crazy.
See, did you really? I thought most of them made sense.
Well, some of them.
If you have the time and the means to do so. Now, part of me thought, and we're going to go through them one by one. Part of me thought, okay, I don't know how I would make this work in my day unless I'm getting up at 2:15 in the morning. And maybe that is the answer if you were trying to make all these work in a day.
Yeah, we probably have to talk through some of these so the listeners kind of understand what we're talking about, because some of them. Look.
Okay, just go down it. Number 1.
All right.
Meditating twice a day.
Now that's smart.
Yeah, that is fine. You do need a second to breathe, even if it's not meditating, even 10 minutes to just kind of collect yourself, figure out where you are, organize, do whatever it is in your head that needs to be done. I completely get the premise. Now, he does it for up to 2 hours a day, which I don't have time for that. And frankly, I don't have the mental ability to do that, but props to him. But there is something to be said for 2 pauses in your day every day.
Yes, there is absolutely a lot to be said for just quiet time in the morning, a little quiet time at night. One of the things I've learned for me is occasionally being willing to say out loud to the people in my life, I need a minute. Don't be offended. I need a minute. And so I'm going to go take a minute. It's not personal. I just need a minute.
And he makes the point that true meditation, which I've never really done, I'll be honest, is not even really about, it's about quiet, but it's not really calming. It's about really trying to let whatever's in there come out and figure out what you need to do.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of therapy a little bit.
Yeah. Number 2, walking to work. Said it takes him an hour and 15 minutes.
I mean, I walk to work every day.
Good point. It's like 6 seconds, but yes.
Yeah, but I do. I walk to work, and I will walk away from work today. But no, I see his point. I mean, that
he's getting some exercise in. He said it's mostly jogging, and he basically gets to jog for 2 hours a day and get some exercise in on the way to work. And I'm sure he has a shower at the office.
Exactly. He probably has a shower at his office. So some of that is, hey, I'm getting my 10 miles of running in each day.
Yeah, most of this is easier when you're a billionaire.
Yeah.
Shocked, I know. But point being, you get your workout in. Okay. Good enough.
When he doesn't walk to work, he does high-intensity intervals on an exercise bike.
7 minutes.
7-minute workouts via the app 7, which I've never seen before, but interesting.
Yeah. Doesn't go to a gym, doesn't have a personal trainer, he says.
Okay.
Saunas and ice baths. Sits in a barrel sauna at 220 degrees for 15 minutes. Then hops in an ice bath, 37 degrees, for 3 minutes. Repeats the process 3 times, finishing with a 1-minute ice bath.
Well, this is where it helps to be rich.
You have a problem here?
No. I mean, I know
think this is one of the more useless ones, but okay. Fine, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily believe in all the sweating out toxin stuff. So that one doesn't do as much for me.
Yeah.
Using a standing desk, completely smart, helps posture tremendously.
Yes, that is very bright.
That is completely, and that's great. Everyone should do that, frankly.
Yeah.
This one, I would have thought you were nuts, but this is where podcasts change my opinion. Starting the day with an ice cold bath, Adam Carolla swears by this. Takes like a 3-minute cold shower every morning, first thing.
Just to wake.
Water as cold as you can get it. He says that it just sort of energizes him a little bit and just kind of zaps him. That it's been a tremendous help to him.
This sounds crazy, but this is power of podcast. If Carolla says it, I believe it.
He's talked Dr. Drew into doing it. Drew now, I don't remember which way it goes. Drew either jumps in, does the ice cold, and then turns it up and does his normal shower, or he does his normal shower and then turns it ice cold for like 3 minutes before he gets out. One way or the other, I don't remember which way. And he has been very complimentary of it as well.
Huh.
Because I don't think I have the mental ability or the desire to only do the cold shower, but I think I could withstand it for a minute if I got to then just do my normal shower.
If you got to warm up afterwards.
Yeah. Which Corolla says is the cop-out because the whole point is to shock yourself and move on with your day. But I kind of like my warm shower, I'll be honest. That's a creature comfort I'm pretty high on.
Yeah, it's kind of like I've had some people say, you would lose a little more weight if you'd give up that glass of red wine at night.
Yeah,
and I'm like, life is short, and I like that glass of red wine at night. I mean, I look forward. There are days that at 2:00 in the afternoon, I think that glass of red wine is going to make all of this better.
Yeah, but I could certainly get straight into the cold and then warm up. I would have a little hard time getting warm and then freezing before I get out.
Yeah, it's interesting. Again, I'll have to listen to Corolla talk about it. But I really like Adam Carolla a lot. I find him to be, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I'm one gazillionth as talented as he is. I'm not. But I've found that he thinks a lot like I do, and he makes me feel more sane about myself.
I think so. He has a very pragmatic nature that I think would be very, good for you.
When he'll say things, and I'm like, yeah, you're speaking. Yep, that's me. I get it.
Yeah. He takes a bunch of supplements, basically vitamin C. Again, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people that do a multivitamin. That's cool.
Here's where it gets a little nuts. He eats 1 meal per weekday, which is essentially what Neal's done for the last 10 years.
Until I'm going to admit this out loud.
Okay.
We'll get into all of it when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
But I have dramatically changed my exercise regimen. Big time. I've gotten away from like running, and now I think for the very first time the last few weeks I'm using the Peloton appropriately.
Oh, okay.
Doing a lot of high intensity interval training. Doing Tabata a lot, which is, for those who don't know, it's basically a series of 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off, which doesn't sound like much until you do 4 minutes of Tabata, and then it follows. After the 4 minutes, you'll do like a 3-minute climb, and then you're back into 4 minutes of Tabata.
I guess you technically could do that running too.
You could. For me, the hard part about running every day now is the wear and tear on the joints, the ability to do it back-to-back days.
I was thinking for myself more.
Yeah. I mean, if you're disciplined enough with the clock.
Well, you would need some sort of app that does it in your headset.
Yeah, you got to sprint 20 seconds. Like, you wouldn't be able to listen to a podcast and do it.
Yeah.
You'd have to be locked in. You sprint 20 seconds, and then for 10 seconds, you could either stand still or you could walk. It sounds like that recovery. The thing is, after you do that 4 or 5 minutes, you're not, the 10 seconds is not long enough to recover. And so you're getting the heart rate and the calorie burn and all of that stuff in a much more effective, efficient manner than you do when you just do like I used to do, which is get on a treadmill and just run.
Mm-hmm.
To finish that thought,
yeah.
I have, because of that, and because I'm listening to people who know what they're talking about, and I'm finally just going, okay. And it's taken me a while to kind of get my system used to it, but I'm eating something every 3 hours.
Are you really?
Except for at nighttime when I sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. I mean, it might not be much. It might just be like a couple of bites of chicken jerky, but I'm eating something every 3 hours.
Yeah, we'll get into much more detail with that later on. But he says that he eats dinner between 6:30 and 9, and it's typically really healthy. He has basically dark chocolate and berries for dessert, sometimes drinks some red wine. That's essentially intermittent fasting, which a lot of people have had a lot of luck with. They eat all of their meals in like a 6 or 8 hour period, and then they don't eat anything the rest of the day. And that apparently trains your body. You know, Jimmy Kimmel lost all his weight eating whatever he wanted, not whatever he wanted, but eating normally 5 days a week, and then 2 days a week not eating any more than like 300 calories.
Yeah.
It's the way he did it, that 5-2 diet. The one that is crazy to me with Dorsey is he fasts at times. He's only done this a few times. This isn't an every week thing. But he'll fast all weekend long. He won't have dinner on Friday and won't eat anything else until Sunday evening.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
That's a long time. I don't know how you can.
He admitted that by day 3, the first time, he was hallucinating.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know how you could develop. I don't know how you would have the mental function.
Yeah, you'd have to do it on the weekend, because your brain wouldn't be able to do what it normally should be able to do to be a CEO.
But given how much of a CEO he is, I mean, there's probably a lot of Saturdays where he has to make decisions.
Yeah, he's not 8 to 5.
No.
Tracks his sleep, have no problem with anyone tracking their sleep. That's a very healthy thing to do that I should be better at. And then journaling makes all the sense in the world, writing things down.
Yeah, for sure.
So 8 or 9 of his 11 make a lot of sense to me.
Well, now that I think about it, you're right. The food part is what got me.
Yeah, no, the food's crazy, and I don't believe in all the ice baths and the saunas every day. Otherwise, I'm kind of in with him. I mean, it takes discipline, and I think everybody could pick 3 or 4 of these. You couldn't do all 11 immediately. You just would never get those habits set. But I think everybody could take 3 or 4 of them and become a little more productive, a little healthier. Just an opinion. So
yeah, no, I think you're right.
Yeah, it's good article there. I don't hate that one. From CNBC, maybe, I don't know, something like that. We'll talk to Jeffrey tomorrow. We'll have a good bit of Masters talk tomorrow, I would assume. He and I have not even discussed it offline, if you will. So we'll probably do a little of that. We'll talk some more draft. It's getting very, very close. And then we'll see what's in Neil's mailbag. I saw some of the questions. Might go over some of that on the show also. So that coming up tomorrow on the podcast. Appreciate you listening in, and we'll talk to you then.